In the midst of this, of course, now Hamlet's life is even more complicated as his ghostly father shows up. And after he's mourning his loss, Horatio and the guards come in to say, "Hey, we saw your dad last night, and we think you should come and see if he'll talk to you." So when the ghost of Hamlet shows up, we're now entered into this conversation about the real villainy of Claudius, as Hamlet's ghost gives us the full story. We see a character who, so far, we don't really have a lot to be upset at him for, but now we see the real issue here. And so he says that he must avenge my murder most foul. And of course, everyone then asks, well, how foul is the murder? And here's the foulness of the murder. The real story, it's been rumored that he was sleeping in his garden and a serpent bit him. But King Hamlet says the real story is that he was killed by his brother in his orchard while he slept, that Claudius snuck in and poured poison in his ear. So there's a couple kind of clear Elizabethan connections here, right? Serpent in the garden is symbolic of Satan in the Garden of Eden. And the sense of there, of course, is that Satan preys on innocence. And in the same way that the devil, in the guise of a snake, whispers into the ear of Eve to tempt her to eat from the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, Claudius pours poison into the ear of the innocent King Hamlet. Right? So that's the first connection. The second connection, of course, is this brother's poison in the story of Cain and Abel, which, if you're familiar, is the first death in the Bible. These are the two sons of Adam. Adam and Eve have been kicked out of the garden because of their eating of this fruit, which is the one thing they're told not to do. And the immediate offspring of that, their two sons, is this enmity that the two brothers have. Abel is the pious seeker. He's the one who truly desires to live as God requires him to live. And Cain is jealous of his brother. And out of jealousy for the purer brother, Cain murders him. And it's the first death in the Bible. It's also the first murder in the Bible. And Cain is representative here of that kind of envious betrayal, because what betrayal is worse than murder within a family? What betrayal is worse than brother killing brother? A couple more ideas here that Hamlet's father puts forward. Hamlet's father says to him, "I am thy father's spirit, and for the day confined to fast and fires, till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away." The idea here is now to take this one step deeper. So not only has Claudius murdered him and taken his life, also taken his position, taken his wife. In this now, King Hamlet says that he was unable to receive last rites before dying. So Shakespeare is actually doing something kind of interesting here. Shakespeare is writing in Elizabethan England, so there's a Protestant on the throne. But if you're familiar with this time period at all, you know that England is kind of ping-ponging back and forth between Protestant belief and Roman Catholic belief. And the ideas that King Hamlet puts forward here are bound to some sense of Roman Catholic doctrine, which I'd like to explain briefly. So one of the sacraments in the Roman Catholic Church is last rites, which is a final opportunity to receive forgiveness of sins. And this is what Claudius has kept King Hamlet from receiving. And so King Hamlet dies with unforgiven sin on his account, if you will. He dies with a negative balance in his bank account. And so rather than being sent to heaven, where by right it seems he should be, instead, because of this unnatural murder, King Hamlet has found himself in purgatory. Now, purgatory is, in Roman Catholic theology, sort of an in-between place between hell and heaven. You see the word purge in purgatory, and the sense there is people who are good, but are not quite good enough to get into heaven, have to spend some time in purgatory having their sins purged from them. And that sounds okay, except that purgatory is basically hell. It's the same level of punishment. It just doesn't last forever. There's an end game in sight. But the souls in purgatory, in Dante's Purgatorio, they could be there for a very, very long time. You know, something that's not eternity doesn't mean it lasts for 60 minutes. You know, something that's not eternity could last for thousands of years. And so he says, I'm coming out of this place where my sins are being purged away. He says, my soul has been compromised as a result of the murder that Claudius has, the fact that Claudius has murdered him. And so for the Elizabethan audience, it's like, who is able to do all this stuff? He says, thus was I sleeping by a brother's hand, of life, of crown, of queen, at once dispatched, cut off, even in the blossoms of my sin, unhouseled, disappointed, unannealed, no reckoning made, but sent to my account with all my imperfections on my head. What kind of person can do this? Who can rob you of your life, your crown, your possessions, your family, and also your soul? Well, the devil, right? Only the devil can get into all those spaces for an Elizabethan audience. And on the right here, you see a selection from Hieronymus Bosch's The Garden of Earthly Delights, in which we have pictured for us the Prince of Hell, a bird gobbling somebody else. It'd be cute if he didn't have a person in his mouth. So this is the sense for the Elizabethan audience. Claudius is like, he's connected here to like the devil. He has taken absolutely everything from King Hamlet. King Hamlet is a pure good king, and this man, out of greed, out of betrayal, out of lust, has stolen from him all the things that he by right has been given.